Hello everyone, welcome back to the Constellation series. For this month, we are in Virgo. Virgo. So when I sat down to really start designing, this Zodiac sculpture, I start somewhere. Usually I start with the element. I try not to embody so much of the element itself in the design. I want them all very cohesive. But with these earth signs, and Virgo is an earth sign if you didn't know. When it came to earth signs, I really enjoy adding really voluminous steel, kind of beefy bar. You know what I mean? I like to have gravity kind of pull you in just by the substance of it. With that in mind, when I was designing Virgo, I started with the stars, as all I always do. And usually they're depicting the maiden. And as much as I would love to recreate this very feminine-like structure, I tried to do that in an extraordinarily abstract way. Now, when you're forging hot steel, especially when you're, forging a 3-inch, 4-inch bar, there's a lot of energy that goes into this, right? And it's not just about strength. Strength certainly helps, but a good strike has so many elements involved. It's speed, it's grace. Like, you think I'm trying to muscle this hammer around. I'm really not. I'm holding onto this handle almost as if I was holding a bird. It's very delicate, it's very graceful, and I'm putting my energy down where I need it. Let me give you an example. When I'm forging a tiny little scroll at the end of my anvil, I'm just like breathing against the steel. But when I have like a 3-inch bar over my anvil, I'm getting down. I'm getting down, the hammer's coming down hard, and I'm striking true. So whenever I'm taking a sculpture or something like that from a 2-dimensional space that I have all engineered out into physical reality, a string is an amazing measuring tool. It's very difficult to take your, architect's ruler and get a really good curve measurement on it. A piece of string does it beautifully. I lay that piece of string across wherever I need it to be, and then I measure that across a nice straight plane on my architect's ruler, and it tells me exactly how long that bar needs to be. All these sculptures need a base, and it's all standard, right? You've seen me cut these things out, you see me bend the ring, but I haven't talked much about putting the ring onto the base. Now, when I use my old roller, I built that when I was a teenager, and it has its quirks. It's not perfect. So when I get that ring, there's still quite a bit of work to do. When I get it over that, that circle, that disc, I have to maneuver it a little bit. I have to move it around, and I cut the bar long, letting the bars pass each other, so that all I have to do then is come back with my saw, cut it down the middle, and those two bars line up perfectly. So as you know, steel is heavy. Steel is heavy, especially when you get it counterlevered out and it's just like welded at the base. But even though it's strong and it's heavy and dense, it'll wobble. And no one likes to see a wobbling structure, especially something that could fall down and crush them. It really strips the illusion that it is this immovable thing that maybe is before time, like it really strips that away. So it has to be solid. And there's ways that you can create structure without making it look like an I-beam or, like a grid or something like that. I cut out these webs and I designed it knowing what it needed. That's just that intuition that comes from decades of doing this type of thing. So keep your practice coming. But I added these webs to link everything together in a homogeneous structure, because I couldn't sleep at night if I knew I had a wobbly sculpture out there. As you know, in my work, there's a lot of scroll work. Scrolls being that lovely Fibonacci shape that just kind of goes into infinity, right? There's different types of scrolls out there. There's actually many different ones. And when it comes to these zodiac sculptures, I try to incorporate two. When we're talking about space, when we're talking about the cosmos, there's a lovely idea that I like to toy with, and that is velocity and gravity. Picture this, a large trampoline, and you roll a bowling ball and it'll find perfect center. It'll just drop down and create like a cone. And then if you were to grab a marble and then just zing it out there, it would orbit, just like our planets do, just like our solar system does. Like everything moves around this gravitational pull, and it's beautiful. I like to hint at that with my scroll work as well, and these star constellations, because they are pinpoints of mass. Let me kind of illustrate what I'm talking to you on this like little piece of steel. So on one end, I have this very standard scroll where, it's almost like water going down a drain. If you were to pretty much throw that marble against the perimeter of that trampoline, and it would just slowly lose velocity, working its way closer and closer to the center of that bowling ball to disappear into like a singularity, right? But this one over here, this very Art Nouveau style, scroll, I like to think of if you were to almost aim just outside of that bowling ball, that singularity's influence, and you were to throw it, it would pass by and then come back, and it's elliptical, right? It's coming and going, and it's fast. It has velocity as it rips by. This one I have been entranced with for years, and it's so fun to interact with these star constellations with that thought process in mind. Then it's time to start placing this beautiful earth tone glass of, rich ambers and greens. I love it so much in these kind of deep grays and these olives, you know what I mean? It's a lot of fun. And once I start peeling all the tape, yet again, you get stunned when it finally takes shape. Because you spend weeks creating something, it feels so good to finally see it truly take shape. Of course, this is going to its home at the Alegrado Resort. There's this beautiful mountain where all of these wine vineyards all coalesce up at the top, and it's called Mount Olive. There's these beautiful 4 olive trees at the peak of this thing. It's lovely up there. There's actually several of these constellation sculptures going at the top. I can't wait to show you more. But this is the first to go up there. And up there you have the view of the Abbey down below. It's just gorgeous. I wish I could take you all to this Mount Olive with me. Now, I haven't picked a favorite yet because they're not all finished, but I'm loving how all of these are turning out. They all have their own soul, their own heart about them. It's just really exciting, and everyone has such a personal relationship to the stars and their own zodiac sign. So I really do hope that I'm, doing it justice for your personal relationship with them. I just really want to tell you all thank you for sharing this journey with me. Like, it's so exciting to be able to not only build these things, but to share them, and how unifying it is to share the same sky and really rebuild our collective appreciation for the stars. Let's start talking about this stuff, but from a different lens. This is a lot of fun, and I'm so excited to share more with you. And as always, my friends, thank you for watching.